Welcome back to the Centered on Buffalo podcast. Excuse my voice. It's been a long week, long weekend. We raised a ton of money for Oshai Children's Hospital through the Evan Wood Fund at our annual Flights of Bites event. I sang with the band, Chris Farrar, The Common Good. They crushed it again. But with singing, calling the game, and some other media appearances, this is the voice you're going to get for today, and hopefully it's back by this weekend. But this week's guest is a good one. This is a big-time guest for us, and it's Andrew Whitworth. Andrew was a longtime NFL tackle, all-pro, Super Bowl champion. He's now one of the hosts of the Fitz and Whit podcast, which he co-hosts with Ryan Fitzpatrick, friend of the show. They do an awesome job. And then you can also find him on the Amazon Thursday night coverage. And he was just in Buffalo a couple weeks ago. We'll dig in on that, talk about this Bills team, and take a look around the league. If you didn't check out last week's episode, the episode with Jackson Halls was a lot of fun getting to know that rookie tight end who's been a beast for us this year. The previous episode was with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Those are fun ones. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast, whether that's YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Make sure you're subscribed. Leave a rating, 5 stars if you enjoy it. And then also, in the comments, leave us any comments on who you want to hear come on the podcast in the future. And we love your feedback. And enjoy the podcast. Go Bills.
Hit us up on all social media at The Buffalo Pod.
Big Whit, welcome on the podcast, brother.
Appreciate it, Wood. What's going on, baby?
Oh, not a whole lot. We just had our big charity event in Buffalo Monday night. I sang with the band, called the game Sunday, hosted about 40 out of town or so. Voices on the struggle bus, but other than that, I feel pretty good.
We're living our best life, baby. We're living our best life. We've come a long way from black and fat guys. You know what I mean?
No doubt. And our body feels better. Just our voice can go now, but that's okay. Right. How's the broadcast season been going?
Everything's good, man.
Good. Yeah.
It's been fun, man. I mean, obviously, for us, it's like Fitz and I just hanging out, basically having a chat about something we'd sit around and talk about, having coffee. So it's been a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys look like you're having a lot of fun out there, and we'll talk a little bit more about your Buffalo experience here in a minute. But what's this road trip you and Fitz are about to embark on?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're about to have a lot of together time. That's one thing you realize when you take a road trip. We this summer we got to kind of hang out a little bit and do some fun things. Amazon now obviously expanding their sports business into other things. So NBA and NASCAR were big ones this off season. And so obviously NASCAR was like an opportunity this summer where they said, hey, if any of you would like to go check it out, let us know. So Fitz and I decide we're going to go to Pocono. We go to the NASCAR races. We have an absolute blast. It was so sick going down in pit row and hanging out there with the drivers and stuff, and just kind of getting to see that whole setup and how they operate. It was really enlightening to us. So we get back, and you know how it is. Like, you've been around both of us. So we're like, man, that was fun. And I joked with our producer with Amazon, like, you know what? Next year, we should just get an RV, and Fitz and I go to every NASCAR race. I mean, those are our people. We'll just hang out in the tailgate areas and have a good time. And he kind of was like, man, that'd be cool if we ever did that maybe during the season. I go, man, listen, my dream in life would be to bring back the Madden Cruiser. Like, that would be my goal in life. And he goes, are you kidding? I'm like, no, dude, I would totally be down. So he's like, all right, let me figure this out. So we basically have planned to take our coast-to-coast trip, first time ever, TNF. It got us a bus, wrapped it. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
I have. It's sweet.
It's so cool. So we're going SoFi Stadium to MetLife Stadium, Thursday night football to Thursday night football. This week is Rams-Niners. Next week is Philly in New York playing the Giants, so Eagles-Giants, and we are going to have some antics along the way. A lot of good stops planned, a lot of fun. It's going to be a good time.
I can't wait to follow along with this. I was cracking up. I was listening to your guys' podcast with Mina earlier, Mina Khan. She's come on the show before. Absolutely love her. And I was listening to you guys talk about snacks that you're bringing and whatnot. And not many people roll like Fitz, where he just kind of eats whatever he wants and all that. Most of us coming from the NFL and us that have to peel a few off, we live a little bit more disciplined lifestyle than my man Fitzy. But
he'll be crushing corn nuts, and you know how he is, and drinking Guinness, I'm sure. But yeah, that's the fun thing. The thing I'm a little concerned about, Fitz well, he's kind of been debating on when he's actually or if he's going to shower all week. So I think there's been a discussion of him going open water, maybe just finding a pond or a stream or something that he could just wash off in. So I'm a little nervous about what the bus is going to smell like by the end of the week. But, hey, listen, it's an adventure. And once you sign up for it, you're stuck together for a week, baby.
No doubt. Let's take a moment to hear from one of our podcast partners, and that's our good friends at Waterboy. My favorite hydration packets out there. Their daily hydration packets I use every single morning. Start yourself off with that cellular hydration that your body needs. And right now, if you go to waterboy.com, use the link in the show notes, you can get a free trial pack with any purchase. So you can try out a bunch of their different flavors. These things are incredible. Go check out our friends at Waterboy. All right. So in the past, Fitz has taken you to tailgates in Buffalo when you've been around the games and, all the antics that go along with that. How was your most recent visit to Buffalo with Fitz and the Amazon crew?
Man, dude, that was unbelievable. Having an opportunity really to see, not just like I think when you go to a game, you get a chance to see the experience of any home game and the fan base. They're there for the event, right? And they're like, and that kind of thing. But to come on a Wednesday night, go to a local brewery and have this opportunity where there's, almost 1,000, if not 1,000 people there. Place is packed. I mean, I happened to get there. I landed early. We didn't start the show till I think almost 8:00 at night. And I got there at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and Fitz was already there, kind of getting an idea of what we were going to lay out to do. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to shoot over there. And I show up and the place is already packed. And I was like, man, this is crazy. So we end up going out there on the stage, having a lot of fun, just kind of Q&A, some fun games, played some beer, some flip cup, played a little, a couple drinking games, then had some name that bill. Fitz threw out some footballs and some signed stuff by us. It was a blast, man. Just getting to be a part of that fan base, not in just a game atmosphere, but man, their passion and showing up on a Wednesday night for their team and the self-belief there was really cool. And then also, I think one of the things you realize that they're true fans is we joked about this. Like I had some people show up with like Whitworth jerseys and like LSU jerseys. And like, I was like, man, this is crazy. Like these people really are fans of sports. And then because you're supporting their team, they're a fan of you as well. And I thought that was probably the neatest part that I walked away from, is that these people are really passionate about the game and everybody that's involved in that.
Yeah, they're an absolutely special group, and I was doing my best to make it, and I had an obligation pop up in Louisville that I truly couldn't miss. And so I was looking forward to it. I was trying to help Fitz out with some logistics and whatnot. And Fitz is like, well, we can't charge. And I was like, charging doesn't mean that you guys have to make money off of it. Charging may keep just a touch of riffraff out,
Yeah.
And so I don't know how it all shook out, but I heard it was an extremely successful night. And
Hey, you know him. Not only did we not charge and we had a blast, there was a ton of people there. At the end of it, he's like, hey, you know what? Whit and I, we don't want to do autographs, but we'll actually take a picture with anybody that wants to line up. And this crowd, every single person at the event got in a line. So we're sitting there taking pictures it had to be almost as long as the event was. But it was awesome. It was great. It was like those interactions were even awesome. It was a really fun deal, and something him and I are looking forward to try to do at a couple other Thursday night football sets. Just having fun with fans, man. It's not an opportunity. I think sometimes we all think about, what you get paid to do or endorsed to do or deals and that kind of stuff. And I think we look at it like, man, this is just an opportunity to celebrate the game of football and the fans that love it, and spend a great time with them and have a blast. And so for us, it was a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to doing it again on a couple other Thursday night trips.
Yeah, that's really cool. You guys got to witness this Bills team in action for the first time this season that you guys saw them in person. What impressed you about this Bills 2025 version?
Well, I think that you can feel like the last year, I thought they made these steps in a lot of different areas with just the confidence they played in and week out, the consistency that you really saw in them. It wasn't like you saw some of these moments from Josh Allen in this offense and the defense. And it's like, man, some weeks you felt like, man, in years past, you were like, man, can we be more consistent with that production? I thought last year they really played really good football for the majority of the year, outside of times when they were just through attrition of the league. You're down guys, you're hurt, you're banged up. You're going to have those weeks against great competition. But this year, it feels like this group is even more consistent. They're more focused. They're locked in. And it almost feels like, to me, like there's a self-belief now of, we know the style of football we can play week in and week out, regardless who's up. And it feels like they're that team now. It doesn't have to be a blowout. It doesn't have to be a comeback. It can be any version of the game you want to play. We feel like we know that we can make the decisions, and in certain situations that come up in a game, we can handle moments where we're needed to be at our best and just find ways to win no matter who it is. And it's not always got to be pretty. We'll find a way to win the game. And I think it's what you see in really successful teams in the league. It's not always got to be pretty. People are going to criticize Philly for how they win every week. Guess what? They're 4-0. So
Right.
you know what? Every other team wishes they were 4-0, right? Just like Buffalo, just like Philly. So that's the truth. It's about finding ways to win. That's the matter. I think you play golf. You know this. Hey, listen, I don't care if it ricochets off a tree wood.
Yep.
If it went in the hole, that's the goal, right? That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a birdie. I'm trying to make a hole in one. I'm trying to get the ball in the hole so I don't make a double bogey. If I'm not making bogeys and doubles, I'm happy. That's what I think it's about. Find a way to get the ball in the hole.
All right, quick side note on that. Last year, a buddy of mine got a hole-in-one, and actually on a par 4 off of a ball that hit off a tree at Hurstbourne Country Club, which had the 5th hardest scoring average on the PGA Tour this season.
That's sick.
Does
I'm
that-
waiting one. I
does
still
that
haven't had
count?
one. I'm devastated.
But does his
It
count
counts
off
by
the
me.
tree?
It counts. Off the tree, it's in. I mean, I hate it. I don't believe in it. Listen, hey, listen, my buddy Reggie Scott, I'm going to call him out right now, head trainer of the Rams. He's got a hole-in-one that he still claims he was by himself. And I just, in my opinion, it doesn't count. I don't care that you hit hole-in-one. I don't believe it. Don't show me that you drove back and took a picture and you got the whole deal. I don't want to hear about it. All right?
Yeah.
Right? If nobody was there, it didn't happen. All right?
Yeah.
But if somebody watched it, it's good.
Yep. And my buddy is a good golfer. And I said, how many great shots have you hit that, miss a hole-in-one by an inch or whatever? I said, you were due that one. I've actually had 2 in the last probably 14 months. And yeah, so
I still ain't got one. I'm still over.
You're due.
It's going to happen.
It's coming for sure. Let's take a moment to hear from one of our podcast partners, and that's Nug Sacks Premium Bagged Reusable Ice. If you're tired of the melted ice, water-filled coolers, and the constant gas station runs to buy bagged ice for your tailgates, check out Nug Sacks Reusable Ice at nugsacks.com. That's NUGSAX.com, and use code EWOOD to receive free shipping on your first order. Grab your Nug Sacks and chill. All right, so back to our original point. You said they're playing with confidence. I've been saying they almost have a calmness about them as well. It's like Josh doesn't feel like he ever needs to force it. Last week against the Saints, he had that one kind of wild run where we saw some vintage Josh Allen playmaking ability. But beyond that, everything's just in rhythm, not too high, not too low. And that same exact thing impresses me. When you look at maybe what concerns you about the Bills, the thing that stands out the most, they're 31st in the league stopping the run right now, this league, but they're not even maybe bottom half in points given up per game. How concerning is that rush defense, though, moving forward throughout the season?
Yeah, I think when they're fully healthy and they got all their guys, I think you feel good. But when they don't, I mean, that's your concern. It's that, all right, you can cruise and you can find ways to win. But when you get in that game where maybe the other team's having a lot of success and running the football and possessing it, now you almost are forced to be somewhat perfect. Now, here's what they've shown. I mean, Josh has shown in some of these moments, and with the weapons they have, they can be that way. They can answer the call when they need to. But I don't think you always want to live in that world. You want to find a way to answer it. And so I think if I looked at it, really, to me, it's rush defense in some of these instances. And then also I think, Ed Oliver's a huge piece of this, but making sure we can get pressure on the quarterback at all times and not have to bring guys always to do it, and make sure that with our 4, we can get there. I mean, obviously we've seen some games where there's been some success there, and I don't know if it's been at the consistency level that I think it's going to take to be at a championship level. We got to find ways to pressure and get the quarterback on the ground. I think of our Miami game, it's like, man, we really, I know Tua's good at getting the ball out, but not creating a lot of pressure with just rushing our guys when Ed Oliver's not in there. To me, that's concerning. We got to be able to week in and week out create that kind of pressure.
I'm with you. And I work for the Bills. I'm not overly critical about them, but over this last kind of 5-year run, when you look at those games that they've been eliminated, and it's been Mahomes and Burrow who have done it, they haven't gotten close to them. I don't even know if they got a sack in any of those games that they've been eliminated in. So you go out and bring Michael Hoyt, he'll come off suspension. Can Bosa be that guy late in the year in the playoffs? Greg Rousseau, I believe he's dealing with a bone bruise in his knee right now. As he gets healthier, Oliver, those guys have to show up, especially in the playoffs, and put pressure on those quarterbacks, or else you're going to get beat if you can't put any pressure on them. So I'm with you 100% there. you guys did an episode with Deion Dawkins, my boy, who's like, I was with him Monday. I mean, he's like a little brother to me now. He comes into the Bills as a rookie, and Deion's personality. And,
Oh, yeah.
me and Richie were essentially like, we're going to give him a chance, but I don't know about this guy. And then it wasn't 3 weeks later, we're saying, hey, put him at left tackle, make him the starter. I like this kid. He's mean, he's athletic. We'll tell him what to do, but get that kid out on the field. He's developed into one of the best offensive linemen in the league. But in that episode y'all did with him was awesome. Just all the personality shining. But what impresses you most about Deion Dawkins on the field?
Yeah, I think it really is exactly what you said. He can be nasty, he can be physical, but he can also be smooth and make it look easy as well. I always say great offensive linemen sometimes are almost boring to watch depending on how the game's played because they're so good and they're so smooth at what they do that it looks like it's not fair. It looks like maybe who they're going against is not that good, and you just don't have a respect for how in control of themselves they are. So I think when I think of Deion Dawkins, I think of just how control he is of his body. Like when he wants to get nasty and accelerate and do all those things in space, he can do it. If he wants to get close to the line of scrimmage, get off the count and knock guys' hands down, fall on guys, erase guys in pass protection, he can do it. And he really does it. And what I think is so cool about him, and I shared this with Aaron Cromer too, is he's always him. Like his personality and who he is, I love. It's one of the things I love the most about the Buffalo Bills. I think when I look at Philadelphia and their really good offensive line as well, even Kansas City years ago when they kind of had their whole group together before they've kind of piecemealed it a little bit the last couple of years, is that there's almost a personality to each guy and their style and who they are. And to me, great offensive lines have that. Like they're not all the same dude. They're all different guys. Like I think of Spencer Brown, his big hugeness, the neck brace, the visor, everything. He's just scary as shit. And then, you look at Osiris and really, like how he's grown. I mean, he's going to be, Deion was one of those advocates, like this guy's going to be one of the best guards in football. You look at his maturity and all those things. I think of Big Cheese, Dave Edwards, like, and Connor, it just all of them kind of have their own personality. And I love that. To me, in a group, you need that. And I think that's one of the things that gets me excited about them. And Deion obviously being the leader of that, man. You talk about somebody is who they are all the time, regardless of anything. That's the part you love. It's almost infectious to be around those kind of people. I put Puka Nacua in that group with the Rams. He's one of those just infectious personalities. He's always him all the time and got his feet off of it.
Yeah, I got to see some of the media stuff that Puka Nacua did at the Super Bowl last year. He's an athlete's first guy, so he was out at the golf tournament. I mean, that dude, he's amazing. And
joy of life, man. Football is life.
That's
it. That's him.
And the NFL draft's always going to be a hindsight 2020 game, but how he falls that far in the draft, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And he's been lighting it up since the day he walked into LA. And I'm happy for him. I truly am. I'm glad he's in the NFC, that's for sure. But I sure would have liked to see him on this Bills roster. But you'll appreciate this as a Cromer guy yourself. He gets a lot of love for this offensive line and how he's worked with them and all that. And Sean McDermott, I'm glad Sean told this story because I didn't ever want to bring it up and I didn't know if I was allowed to, but I was watching the AFC NFC championship games at my house. We had a bunch of people over and I get a call from Sean McDermott and I was like, all right, Les, I better go talking to my wife. I was like, I better go take this one. So I walk outside and I was like, hey, what's going on, Sean? He's like, we're going to make a switch at offensive line coach. And I was like, oh no, don't offer me a job or anything. I'm not trying to make that decision right now. I've had a few beers here in me already. And then he goes, what do you think about Aaron Cromer? I go, bring him in. Do anything you can to get Cromer back in Buffalo because he will work wonders with this group. And he was like, well, how will we get along personality wise? I said, I'm not sure if you guys will be like traveling together with your families after the season, but he loves ball. You love ball. He's a grinder. He'll be working out there in the morning with you and all that. Well, then I get a FaceTime. Not long after, they're down at his beach house in Florida, FaceTiming me. Hey, I thought you said we weren't going to travel together. I love this dude. I was like, well, all right, awesome. I'm glad all that worked out. But Cromer catches a lot of love in Buffalo, and he's done an awesome job with that group. And I think James Cook is playing as good or better than anyone at the running back position. But there's plays where Cook certainly makes that group look good. But there's a lot of times he gets 5-6 yards before contact, which is scheme as well. But those guys are moving people and doing a heck of a job. And I'm glad you mentioned Spencer Brown because he doesn't get a lot of national recognition.
Yep.
But that dude's developed into one of the best right tackles in football. And it seems like the Bills got him for a steal of a number, re-signed him before last season. So All good things up front on the Bills O-line. Do you have a prediction? I know your dog picked the Patriots over the Bills this week, but
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on this matchup with the Patriots?
Yeah, I think that Buffalo is going to continue to roll. I mean, I think this is a really good one, though. I think it's one of those where New England, I think, is going to see it. You look last week, really the fight the Saints had a little bit. I think in this game, you got to guarantee that New England sees this as this is our test game. Like, where are we at under the Vrabel now? What's our response to where we're going and where we're headed? So I would imagine how Vrabel is so good at doing, he is going to rally these guys up to where this is the biggest bar fight they've ever walked into in their life. And that's going to be the shot they're going to give. And so it's really going to be one of those games where it is for Buffalo. I call it, weathering the storm. You're going to have to weather the storm a little bit at the beginning of the game. In that sense, that could be you come out and you land some punches and you dominate the fight from the beginning. It could be, hey, man, we might get some of their best shot, but just stay in this thing, stay who we are. Don't overreact. Nobody panic. Just stay calm. Let's handle it. Let's respond, figure out the day and what it looks like, and be who we are. Just play championship football. And so I think, to me, that's what Buffalo's going to do. I think they've been in these, they've seen these games, but sometimes it's like, hey, Buffalo's played Baltimore. They've had some of these big moments against teams. They played Miami, a team they dominated. But here's a team where you're supposed to win, but this team's about to come swinging. And so you've got to have that kind of mentality, and I think they will. So I think early in the year right now, not enough has happened to worry about it. I think Buffalo gets it done for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be interesting with Diggs coming back as well. And, I just know how petty offensive coordinators can be in this league. And I mean, Josh McDaniels is going to scheme something up in the red zone for
Oh, yeah.
Diggs, whether it's giving it to him on an end around. Like, he wants Diggs to have a moment in Buffalo. So it'll be interesting to see. And the Bills also know that. I mean, Bobby Babbage is sitting there as the defense coordinator for the Bills saying, look, similar to how in week 2 we give Elijah Moore, who got drafted by the Jets, an end around for a touchdown against the Jets. Like, be prepped for something to
Oh,
come to
yeah.
Diggs in the red zone, because we know what goes on in those offensive meetings throughout the week. Hey, you're playing against your old boys. Here we go. You got to
Yep.
do so, we're gonna try to put on a show this week for you and all that. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Let's take a moment to hear from one of our podcast partners, and that's Dano Seasoning. Right now, you can get a 13-pack of their premium seasoning for just $65. And with that, that will last you most of this football season through your tailgates. It'll make you look good, I promise. Go check him out at danoseasoning.com. Use the link in the show notes, though, and use that code BUFFALO and get that awesome deal they've given us. Yum, yum, get you some. All right, we're going to get to a few rapid-fire questions. Those are brought to you by Dano Seasoning. Number one, and I'll say this, if this was the obvious answer, don't say Myles Garrett. But if you were still playing left tackle on Sundays, who's an edge rusher that would be the least that you'd want to sign up to go against right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think Miles is definitely at the top of that list, but I mean, I think him and for me personally, probably somebody like Micah. I mean, his get off is special, and so I think that you see it. The question, I think this, the caveat I'd give is, are we home or away, right? Because that can
True.
matter a lot to the style
Oh,
of
yeah.
player that you're playing, right? If it's Miles Garrett, I'm not as worried about him if I'm at home. But some of those guys that really, the smaller guys like Micah, for me, as tall as I was and the length I played with, those guys that can get off the rock fast, that usually gave me more issues than anybody else.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, everyone wants those tall guys with length, but then you go against an Aaron Donald and you don't even really know where to hit him, and he's stronger than you and he's
Yeah, I
quicker
think
than
of
you.
Elvis Dumerville was like that early in my
Yep.
career. He was a guy that gave a lot of tackles. He could get off the rock fast. He was short and he was powerful. James Harrison, obviously, who I played for a long time, and people forget Dwight Freeney in the sense of, people think of his spin move, but his actual setup was he would bull you and use speed to bulls constantly, and then he'd hit you with that spin. Those shorter, stocky guys that can play power and speed, they're tough.
Oh, yeah. Doomerville was a college teammate of mine. And I mean, his arms are so freakishly
Dude,
long, too,
crazy.
that he can long arm you at 5'11" or
Yep.
whatever they got him listed at, but probably a true 5'11" dude. And his arms are equivalent to someone who's 6'5" out there, which makes him extra tough to go against. All right. I didn't think I would see this, especially not this soon. With the family dynamic, we have a mutual friend in Kyle Williams, both of our closest friends, and he's now coaching the defensive line for the LSU Tigers. How surprised were you when you got that news?
I was surprised, but honestly, I was happy for him more than I was surprised, because I'd watched how much he'd poured into coaching at Ruston High School as a defensive coordinator, and I'd had some conversations with Jill because we both know his wife Jill as well, and
Yep.
she's like, "Whit, if we're going to work 80 hours a week, I mean, can we at least like do something where we're getting paid or we're
Right.
like doing so, like, it's like this is crazy." Like he said we were retiring, he's working more than he did as a Bill, right? So it's like the truth is, man, he was working his butt off, and I think he's got so much potential as a coach and just who he is as a man. There's so many people that could lean into, he could lean into, and they could just get so much from him that I think it's so awesome. I love that LSU did it. I'm sure Buffalo's a little disappointed they couldn't get him up there, but you know what? He's an LSU Tiger. Jill's from Baton Rouge. I'm sure that's been a great setup for them. So I'm happy for him, man. And I know he's going to have a huge impact on some young men's lives. And we're going to look back in a couple of years. There's going to be some defensive linemen from LSU. They're going to be talking about the impact Kyle Williams has made on them.
Oh, absolutely. And that's on and off the field. He'll be so good for these guys nowadays with navigating NIL and transfers, to have a guy like Kyle Williams in there to learn from. And just, I mean, I always say one of the most impactful moments of my career is when Marcus Stroud got released by the Bills and Kyle Williams called me up and he said, "Hey, we're going to share a wall in a townhouse. I don't care what your lease looks like at your place now. We're roommates. We're next door neighbors now." And me and my wife didn't have kids at the time. I got to see how he was as a dad, a husband, and then just how he conducted his business. It was, man, I got chills. That was like, I always look back and people talk about, big moments. And I'm like, honestly, that was one of the best moments of my career and my development on and off the field, was just getting to share a wall with him and Jill and Kate and AC. I think they only had those two at the time. And so
Yeah.
it was, that was a special time. And yeah, I'm fired up for him too. And I say I would have bet against it just because towards the end, he kind of had that like grizzled, grumpy vet presence
Oh
in the
yeah.
locker room. And I'm ready to take a break from football. And then you get away from it. And similar to us, traveled around calling games, it's good to be around it. And
Listen, he's still he's still grizzly grumpy. I promise you that. They also would probably say is Coach Williams gets a little grumpy at times. I guarantee you that they're going to say the things that he's impacted him on. But we know K-Dub, he can get in a mood and a heartbeat. So I'm excited actually to get down to LSU. I'm going down in a few weeks. And I am definitely going to be in there, getting in the locker room, getting some comments about Coach Williams, just so I can share them, because I'm excited to hear his guys talk about him.
for sure. And one last thing, I think his body felt too bad to play as much golf as he thought he would in pickleball and all the things he thought he was going to be doing. So hopping back in the coaching booth, a little easier, maybe dealing with a little pain. All right. What's more impressive to you? A scramble, Josh hurling people and spinning out of tackles, or a Matt Stafford no-look touchdown pass as he's telling the safety afterwards, "Don't look at me"?
You know what? I tell you this, Josh is one of the most impressive humans on earth, but I think the amount of times that Matthew Stafford is able to do this in the biggest game moments, like, it is wild. So it is crazy because you kind of look at those two things and you're like, wow, they are special traits. I mean, for me, it's not that Stafford can do it. It's just like Josh when he has these big moments in games. It's that in the biggest, most critical throw you could ever make in your life, sometimes he's not even looking where that ball's going. And it's wild to think about. Like, I still watch the Super Bowl one, not because we won the Super Bowl, just because every time you look at that one, it blows my mind to look where he's actually looking and where he throws that ball to Coop and the timing it falls and everything. He's already had a couple with Puka and Devontae this year. And then obviously in the Indy game, mic'd up. That is epic Stafford. I've always said, like, to me, what I love is they mic'd him up and they've got this now. And I saw him even say, like, I hope y'all edit some of this before it
Yeah.
goes public, because I was playing with him our last year when we won the Super Bowl, and we were playing Arizona on the road, and we run like a half roll foam protection, as we called it, and he launches a freaking ball to Van Jefferson for 60-something yards for a touchdown. And I'm running, Chandler Jones, he's running the edge, trying to swipe quarterback. So I'm running Chandler Jones by, and as I'm running by the quarterback, all I hear is, "That's an effing dime, baby." And I was like, wait, did Stafford say that? And I
Yeah.
look, and the ball's floating in the air, and sure enough, he's just staring at it, and he's like, "That's a dime." Like, I'm like, oh my God, this dude's a G. Like, that's cool. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know. I just never saw that in his personality. Like, when you're around him, he's so chill, he's so cool. But in a game, him being like swaggy and like that. I was like, oh man, this dude's like, not only is he really good, this is a real dude right here. I love this guy.
Oh,
I call him John Wayne. So I call him the John Wayne of quarterbacks, man. He's just a
oh,
badass cowboy.
he is. He's fun to watch. I've been a fan of his entire career. And, it's like in this day and age of everyone's got a mobile quarterback. And so you got to dedicate someone to, spy him or whatever. Okay, well, I'll take out defenders with my eyes where they don't have to worry about me scrambling per se, but I'll move them myself.
Yep.
To me, that's pretty special. All right, last one for me. Is it Super Bowl or bust for this Bills team this year?
I think to me, it is one of those years where it feels like it is, because I think that there's an expectation they're playing with. There's an energy they're playing with, that the reason I say that is when you feel that way, you got the group to do it, and there's a swagger and energy to you, you are going to be extremely disappointed if it doesn't happen. And almost to the point where when I say Super Bowl or bust, it's like, man, we might have to regroup a little bit of who we are and how we do things going into the next year. There might be some changes, and not necessarily I'm talking coaches, but just in how we kind of put our team together personnel wise. There might have to be an adjustment if we can't figure out a way to go get this thing through and fit to the finish line, because you got to keep adapting and growing. That's the league. The teams that don't do that don't keep on existing. When people talk about the Rams winning a Super Bowl and how are they this good again, all of a sudden they only had one really bad year, the rest of the years they're going to the playoffs, it's because they've adapted. They don't run, Sean McVay doesn't run anything near the same stuff that he did when I was playing there, even early in my career there, to what they do now. They just keep adapting and growing as a football team, and that's how you sustain success. You think of Baltimore, you think of Pittsburgh, you think some of these teams that were able to be good year in and year out, they just keep adapting who they are and how they play and the guys they play with. And so, yeah, it feels like this team to me has all the pieces to go win one. And it's like, if you don't, then you might need to start thinking about, is there a philosophy change or a strategy we need to kind of change up in how we approach this thing?
No, I'm with you on that. Well, before I let you go, I appreciate you rocking the bourbon in the back of the set. Since I'm filming this from Louisville, I
There
tried
we
to
go,
rock a
baby.
shirt of, I know you appreciate the Chelino Bay shirt.
I
Uh,
do. I saw it.
yeah. Try to give you something to put you in the right mindset, because I know anytime.
Clearly, you and I need a drink. I got bourbon behind me. I'm wearing the Delilah H. Wood shirt. You got Chelino Bay on. We either need to play golf or get drunk or something. I don't know what's happening, but we're definitely in that vibe right now.
Yeah, all the above. All the above. I appreciate the time, brother. You're the absolute best. Continued success, safe travels, and sanity next week with Fitz on the road trip.
Yeah, wish us luck, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll keep you posted.
Yeah,
Appreciate you, brother.
absolutely. Likewise.